Hello YouTubers, welcome back to my channel. Here we have this old Stihl 009. Let's see, can we fix it together in this video. I wanted to make this video to show you the complete process of repairing a chainsaw, what you should check the first and where to start. And the first thing I always do is empty the fuel tank. You want to do that because somebody might have filled it with straight gas without any stroke oil. Running a chainsaw on straight gas can cause serious engine damage, so it's important to check that before doing anything else. Because you might start the saw and you will ruin your piston and your cylinder. And here I solved the one problem with the saw. This fuel line isn't even that long to reach the bottom of the fuel tank. When you work on these two-stroke engines, you need vacuum pressure gauge, and I decide now to test is there any leaks in this fuel hose, and also does the carburetor hold the pressure. But I decide to change this hose anyways, so I now do it only because of the carburetor. If you feel a bad smell of fuel mixed with the rubber, this is also a sign that the fuel hose should be changed. And now, as you can see, the carburetor is not holding any pressure at all. If fuel line is good, that's a sign that needle valve in carburetor is not sealing properly. And then I decide it's time to take off the carburetor from the saw. This is the ignition switch, and there is a choke, and beneath this plastic cover there is an air filter. And here you can see the choke mechanism is actually on this plastic cover. And there you can see two hoses. One is for fuel and another one is for gas tank ventilation. You can see now there is some problem with this throttle lever. Maybe somebody put it in the wrong hole. I will check later. I was checking for a compression, and as you can see it feels really good. Luckily this gasket is intact, so you can save it. I didn't want to take it off from the carburetor. And here I check that reed valve. These old chainsaws have that system of intake. They basically have one wave valve. The carburetor is Volbro, and I decide to clean it a little bit outside with the carburetor cleaners. And then I blow it with air compressor just outside. And now when we don't have that fuel hose in the wave, I use this adapter for so I can connect it with the carburetor. And here I check, is there any leaks in the system? and then you simply connect it there where the fuel hose goes. Some carburetors can have multiple connectors like this. You need to connect the tool with the intake, fuel intake. And the carburetor needs to hold 0.8 bar of pressure, and this one is leaking somewhere. And this is the metering side of the carburetor, where you can find that needle valve that needs to hold the pressure. And there is also this metering diaphragm. This one looks bad, but it's not that stiff actually. And there is our gasket when flying across the room. And here is the big needle. Sometimes can be much smaller than this one. And you need to check that tip. This one is rubber. It can also be full metal. And the needle seat can be rubber. Here is different. And that rubber tip was looking really good. And I decide to open this side of the carburetor now. This is pump side. This side pumps the fuel towards that metering side. And this is the pump side diaphragm with its gasket. And there you can see a micro filter. It's a little screen that you can pry with something. And when you put it at the light, you need to see through it. I decide to take off these adjustment screws so I can clean it a little bit inside. There is jets inside of that holes. And usually the age that is for high RPMs have that one-way valve there. So you don't want to blow hard with the air compressor in those holes. Just gently clean it with maybe with a carburetor cleaner or some fuel. And this screen can be tricky to put back sometimes. You can use something round. I like to use my screwdriver. I decide to reuse this diaphragm. It looks good to me, and I bend those two little flaps inside so they can close these two holes a little bit better. And on this side you first put your diaphragm, then the gasket, and you need to tighten it good, but don't over tighten it. Then I try the pressure test again, and I decide to hold the needle with my finger. And of course the inside of the carburetor needs to be wet with the two-stroke mix so it can work properly. And I was looking there in the hole to see is there any like dirt or debris that will hold the needle up, but there was nothing. Then I put a little bit of carburetor cleaner inside. This is where I'm starting to suspect that the needle isn't the cause of the leak. Maybe it was, but we cleaned it really good if there was something sticky inside of that hole. And it looks really good, have good rubber tip. And also I'm holding it with my finger, so it's not a problem of the weak spring or something like that. Then I put back the adjustment screws. They can't usually go in the wrong holes, but I like to separate them. I put L1 on the left side of my working bench and H1 on the right side, so it's easier to put it back. There is a Volbro tool for checking the height of that thingy. I forgot the name of it, but you don't really need that. And here I'm using this soapy water. It's nothing, just the soapy water. And I didn't see any bubbles at all. So I was looking for leaks somewhere else and I found them. Focus is a little bit bad, but you can see bubbles there. I tried to move it a little bit and to tighten it much harder, but that didn't fix it. I'm also checking this cover for the damage, but there is nothing on it. And it's time to try the new gasket and new diaphragm. And on this metering side, first goes the gasket, then the diaphragm. Although everything looks fine and it's holding pressure, we are still not sure if the carburetor will work. And then I remove this old fuel hose and I make a new ventilation for the fuel tank. Easiest way to put throttle linkage back is to remove this whole assembly. There you can see impulse hole, and you will see one on the carburetor as well, so it's easy to put back the correct way. I put this throttle link in the middle slot. Before it was in one to the left. As you can see, now works much better. Because compression feels good and I think I fixed the fuel issue, now I decide to check is there a spark, and after that I can start the saw. And before that we need to put fresh fuel in it, and also you need to put chain oil, because if you run your saw without it you can ruin your oil pump. As you can see, most of the problems are fuel related. This was an easy fix, no special tools required. If this video helped you, please click subscribe. Maybe it's time to fix that old saw that is gathering dust somewhere.